Imagine standing before a stone gate sealed for centuries, and the strangest part isn't what's behind it, but how many people refused opening it anyway. Across India, China, Egypt, Japan, and Peru, there are ancient entrances still avoided today, not because they were forgotten, but because opening them felt wrong. Some was sealed with stone, some with ritual, and some with silence so intense that even archaeologists backed away, choosing mystery over whatever waited inside. One gate in India has no visible lock, yet generations believed a sacred chant, not human hands, was the only thing that could open it safely there. Another lies beneath a Chinese burial mound, where scientists suspect rivers of toxic mercury still flow, turning one unopened tomb into a modern dilemma today. In Egypt, hidden passages near the Sphinx have fueled decades of scans, rumors, and arguments because every unexplored chamber invites the same dangerous question again. Japan has an imperial tomb so restricted that archaeologists cannot properly investigate it, which means one of history's largest burial sites remains untouched for now. And then there are the mountain gates of the Andes, where blocked passages and hidden chambers suggest the Inca closed certain spaces deliberately. What makes these gates unsettling isn't just treasure, curses, or legends, it's the pattern. Different civilizations, same instinct, same warning, same decision to keep them sealed. So before we step through the first gate, remember this. Ancient people opened plenty of doors. These are the ones they chose to fear most. The most disturbing part isn't that these gates exist, but that different civilizations, separated by oceans and centuries, treated certain places exactly the same way. Archaeologists usually chase hidden chambers, but these are the rare cases where experts hesitated, not from ignorance, but because opening them might destroy something irreplaceable. Some seals weren't designed to keep thieves out, but to keep whatever was inside from ever coming back into the world again. Many of these entrances aren't myths or legends, they're documented, mapped, and studied, yet they remain sealed because no one agrees what's safe anymore. In some cases, governments stepped in, blocking excavations entirely, leaving only partial scans, fragmented reports, and unanswered questions for decades. Others are sealed by geography itself, buried beneath collapsing stone, unstable soil, or toxic environments that turn exploration into a dangerous gamble. And sometimes the barrier isn't stone or danger, but belief. Because for certain cultures, opening what ancestors sealed risks far more than discovery. Every sealed gate in this story carries the same haunting possibility that what waits inside might change how we understand our past. But understanding why they remain sealed means stepping closer, looking at the evidence, and asking why ancient builders went to such lengths. So now we begin with the first gate, one so strange that even today it's guarded by ritual instead of locks. In southern India stands a temple older than most modern nations, and inside it lies a vault so mysterious that even authorities refused opening it. The temple itself is known for unimaginable wealth, hidden behind multiple chambers, but one vault, labeled simply as B, remains completely sealed today. When officials opened the other vaults, they discovered gold, jewels, and ancient artifacts beyond imagination, confirming the temple held treasures untouched for centuries. But Vault B was different, not sealed with locks or chains, but something far older, a door design that shows no visible way to open it. Carved across its surface are two massive serpents facing each other, a symbol many believe represents a warning rather than decoration. According to temple tradition, the door can only be opened by a specific sacred chant known as a mantra, performed perfectly without any mistake. Attempts to open it through legal means were stopped after warnings from priests who insisted that forcing the door could bring unpredictable consequences. Even today, the Supreme Court of India has avoided authorizing its opening, leaving Vault B as one of the last completely untouched chambers on Earth. What lies inside remains unknown, not because we lack tools, but because no one has been willing to take the final step. And that raises the question,
If humans opened every other vault for treasure, why is this the one they chose to leave behind?
Buried beneath a massive hill in China lies a tomb so untouched that after 2,000 years, no one has ever entered it. This is the resting place of China's first emperor, a ruler obsessed with immortality, who ordered the creation of one of history's largest burial complexes. Nearby, thousands of terracotta soldiers stand silently, discovered in 1974, guarding something far more important still hidden beneath the ground. But the emperor's actual burial chamber remains sealed, located directly beneath the mound, never opened due to a risk scientists still cannot safely control. Ancient records describe rivers of mercury flowing inside the tomb, designed to represent entire landscapes, a detail modern tests suggest might actually be true. Soil samples taken above the site show unusually high mercury levels, reinforcing the idea that opening the tomb could release toxic material into the air. Beyond toxicity, there's another concern: preserving whatever lies inside, because exposure to oxygen could instantly damage artifacts untouched for over 2,000 years. For now, scientists rely on scanning technology, mapping the interior without entering, creating a digital picture of a chamber no human has ever seen directly. It's one of the few places on Earth where technology can see inside, but human beings still cannot, making it both discovered and undiscovered at once. And until a safe method exists, this ancient gate remains closed, not by fear of myth, but by the very real danger of what science already knows. In Egypt, beside the pyramids, sits the Great Sphinx, a monument so familiar that most people never question what might exist beneath it. For decades, scans and surveys have hinted at empty spaces below the surface, suggesting that the Sphinx may not be as solid as it appears. Ground-penetrating radar and seismic studies have revealed anomalies, shapes that resemble tunnels or chambers, but none have been fully explored or opened yet. Some researchers believe these spaces could connect to deeper structures, possibly part of a larger underground network hidden beneath the Giza Plateau. Others argue the voids are natural formations created by erosion over thousands of years, turning the mystery into a debate between geology and archaeology. Access to certain areas around the Sphinx has been restricted at times, limiting excavation and leaving many of these possible chambers untouched. This has fueled speculation about something called the Hall of Records, a rumored chamber said to contain lost knowledge from an unknown ancient civilization. There is no confirmed proof of such a chamber, but the idea persists because the scans continue to show spaces that no one has entered. So beneath one of the most studied monuments on Earth, there may still be sealed spaces, silent, untouched, and waiting beneath layers of stone. And that's what makes this gate different. Not officially sealed, but still unreachable, hidden in plain sight beneath something the world thought it understood. In Japan, there exists one of the largest burial sites on Earth, yet almost everything about what lies inside it remains completely unknown. This is the tomb of Emperor Nintoku, a ruler from ancient Japan, buried within a structure so vast it rivals the size of pyramids. From above, the tomb forms a perfect keyhole shape surrounded by water, an architectural design that appears both symbolic and deliberately isolating. Unlike other ancient tombs, this one has never been excavated, not partially, not experimentally, leaving its internal structure completely undocumented even today. The reason is not danger, collapse, or technology, but a decision made by Japan's imperial household agency to protect the site from any disturbance. Because the tomb is considered sacred, even modern archaeologists are denied full access, making it one of the few ancient sites completely closed to investigation. This means we don't know what artifacts, chambers, or burial practices exist inside, only that the scale suggests something historically significant lies hidden. Even remote sensing technologies have been limited, ensuring that whatever rests within the tomb remains preserved, but also permanently beyond human understanding for now.
In a world where almost every ancient site has been explored, opened, or disturbed, this tomb stands apart as a place deliberately left untouched. And that makes this gate unique, not sealed by fear or danger, but by choice, a reminder that some histories remain closed because we decided so.
High in the Andes Mountains, above the clouds, sits Machu Picchu, a city so precisely built that even today its full purpose remains uncertain. But beyond the terraces and temples, researchers have identified hidden spaces beneath the city, chambers and passages that were intentionally closed off long ago. Some of these entrances are sealed with perfectly cut stones, fitted so tightly that not even a blade can pass between them. Unlike collapse or damage, these closures appear deliberate, suggesting the Incas didn't lose access to these spaces, they chose to block them permanently. Ground-penetrating radar and structural studies have hinted at voids beneath key areas, but accessing them would risk damaging the fragile historic site. One theory suggests these chambers could have been storage spaces, burial areas, or even sacred rooms reserved for rituals no longer understood. Another possibility is that these spaces were sealed during times of crisis, perhaps to protect something valuable from invaders or natural disaster. What makes this different is the engineering, because every sealed section blends perfectly with the rest of the city, making the hidden nearly impossible to detect. So unlike a locked door, these gates are disguised, hidden within the architecture itself, turning the entire city into something that still holds secrets. And that leaves us with a different kind of mystery, not something we can't open, but something we may not even recognize as closed. In Egypt's Dahshur desert stands a pyramid few people visit, darker, lower, and partially collapsed, hiding internal passages that remain dangerously unstable even today. Built during Egypt's Middle Kingdom, the structure was intended as a royal tomb, but early design failures caused internal damage almost immediately after construction. Unlike the Great Pyramid, this one developed structural weaknesses that led to collapsing corridors, leaving parts of its interior inaccessible even in ancient times. Modern explorers have entered some sections, but many deeper chambers remain sealed behind fallen stone, making further exploration extremely risky and unpredictable. The pyramid earned its name from the dark, decayed appearance of its outer casing, giving it a more ominous presence compared to other monuments. Inside, narrow corridors descend at steep angles, leading to chambers that were likely abandoned before they could ever be fully used. Because of these conditions, parts of the pyramid act like natural barriers, where the structure itself has sealed off spaces no one can safely reach. Even with modern equipment, removing debris could trigger further collapse, turning exploration into a dangerous balance between curiosity and survival. So what lies beyond these blocked corridors is still unknown, not because it was intentionally hidden, but because nature and time sealed it away. And that makes this gate different again, not protected by ritual or authority, but by the simple fact that reaching it may not be possible. By now, something becomes clear. These gates aren't random. They form a pattern. Different places, different cultures, but the same decision repeated again and again. Some were sealed by belief, others by science, some by authority, and some by collapse. Yet every one of them ended the same way. They were closed, not temporarily, not accidentally, but in ways that suggest the builders understood something worth protecting or something worth hiding from the future. Across continents and centuries, the same instinct appears. Finish the structure, then seal part of it completely, leaving behind no clear way back inside. That raises a possibility most people avoid, not that these gates protect treasure, but that they may protect knowledge we were never meant to access. Because if it were only wealth, history shows us humans rarely resist opening it, but these remain sealed, despite curiosity, technology, and opportunity. Which means whatever lies behind them may not be something we're afraid to find, but something we might not fully understand once we do. And maybe that's why these gates remain closed, not because we lack the ability to open them, but because we hesitate when it truly matters. So the question isn't what's behind these ancient gates anymore, it's why so many civilizations made sure we would never easily find out. Because sometimes the most powerful discovery isn't what we uncover, but what humanity across history decided was better left completely untouched. If you enjoy real history that feels unreal, subscribe and like the video so you don't miss the next story. Thank you.